Guys, I think it's time to admit it. I think it's time to finally admit that I really think Capcom has some of the best flat to VR ports I've seen in VR. I'm not gonna lie. They've done it again. They did it again. I just played I just played Resident Evil 4 for like a few hours just to get first impressions to kind of see. And most people who know VR or play VR games, you know within a few hours if you really like a VR game or not. And so this one right here, this one right here, this right here, I even got the hard copy because I sale. I had to get the hard copy. This is it. This is it. This is it. Go get it. There's not. This game is fire. It looks really good. Let's talk about the graphics. Let's talk about the graphics. Let's actually get into the actual review. The graphics of this game is nice. I would say it's definitely more reminiscent of RE8 in terms of graphic fidelity. If RE8 was about like a 7.5 to 8 in terms of graphics, and this game is definitely a 8 to 8.5. It looks really polished. There's not a lot of crazy pop-in and stuff like that. The textures look really good for everything. And honestly, you can tell they put a lot of love and care into graphically making this look good. Even sometimes when you like stoop down, you can literally put your hand on a puddle and it will react. That's a crazy detail just to randomly add to a VR game. I never seen that before. You can tell Capcom really puts a lot of love into these ports because they look great, man. They look really good. It's not a lot of reprojection and stuff like that on the PSVR2. If it was like a good frame rate, I'm not sure what frame rate is running at, but I do think it's like 90. Probably not 120, but honestly I don't know. But it definitely does feel like a really good frame rate that the game is running at. Another thing I gotta give them credit for in terms of graphic fidelity for this game is the lighting. Oh my god, the lighting for this game, fire. With the PSVR2's lenses, man, being in the dark means you're really in the dark and it can make for some creepy moments. And then also the way lighting is handled in terms of like flashlights and stuff like that is really good because it follows your head. So wherever you're looking is pretty much where your flashlight's gonna be. And it's actually bright, unlike some other famous VR zombie games out right now. But that's enough about the graphics. Let's talk about the combat, which a lot of you guys are probably here for. The combat in this game is amazing. There's a lot of added animations you can do as Leon, and like including like knife finishes, stuff like that. The pistols, shotguns, the rifles are really fun to use. And even if you're a person who doesn't play a lot of FPS, VR games, there are other accessible options that can make reloading and stuff like that a lot easier for you. Now, I know you guys want to know about Leon's roundhouse kick because it's just so infamous. And honestly, in this game, it's just fun to use. So if you shoot a zombie a few times, you stun them, you can do the roundhouse melee. And I'm not gonna lie, it is very satisfying to watch in VR. Now, a lot of you guys probably expected to do the roundhouse kick in first person. It is not in first person. It is actually a third person animation, which leads to one of my biggest critiques about this game. This game actually really feels like a VR port, and it reminds you of that a lot of times when you're playing. The biggest moments be when Leon has to do anything that requires movement, and you're kind of put in a third person animation where you can look around and stuff like that. And it's like, dang, why can't I just do that with my hand? Because I mean, it is a VR game. Or even in cutscenes, like when you're looking at a flat screen, that's, to me, going from RE8 where you're actively taking part in these cutscenes versus going to just flat screens, it's a little bit disheartening. It kind of takes you out of the immersion of being in the VR game. So I definitely do want, in further updates that Capcom does, if they do update the game, definitely do something about that, because it's a little bit of a bummer to have RE8 type cutscenes and go back to flat screens, in VR games. But with that being said, the combat is fire. If you're looking for a good zombie gutting, rootin' tootin' shooting horror experience, and look no further than Resident Evil 4. Another thing I want to mention, guys, is the haptic feedback on the PSVR controller. Man, I gotta say, the PSVR2's haptic feedback is like the game changer when it comes to switching headsets for me as a person that owns a lot of different headsets, because man, it's just using these while playing any type of shooting game is so satisfying, man. Especially in this game where you're shooting the pistol or the shotgun, you really feel it. Like you really feel like that. You feel the gun pretty much. And so it makes combat, it makes interacting with stuff so much better, man. I don't know what Sony put in these controllers to make the haptic feedback so great. Man, they gotta keep doing it, dog. It adds so much to the experience. And it's like, Even if the port went to different platforms, I would definitely only really recommend it for the PSVR right now, because it's just the best way to experience a game is with these type of haptic feedbacks in the headset and in the controllers. The amount of atmosphere that RE4 has as a VR port is staggering, man. It's just so much to really love about this VR port. And even as I was playing, I found myself getting more and more like just drenched in the lore of the game and stuff like that. And that story is actually pretty good. You know, even though it's my first time playing RE4, I'm really liking the story. The story is actually pretty great. I do want to see more improvements to the game, like I said before, but as a base experience, I gotta give it like an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 for sure. Highly recommend for anybody on the PSVR2. This isn't gonna be a long review because honestly, guys, there's not much bad to say. The game is great. Go ahead, go out, go get it. Why are you still here? Like, why are you still here? But before you leave, for my PSVR people, I do have more reviews coming, more gameplays, and more streams coming. I've been neglecting you guys a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Usually I like put out more PSVR content, but your boy hasn't been getting a lot of keys. I'm not gonna lie, buying a lot of these games kind of rough. So it'll come when it comes, but definitely make sure you subscribe, stay on the channel so we can get bigger, get better numbers, get more keys and stuff for further reviews. I will be playing FNAF Health Wanted next week. You know I gotta play it because I played the first one a few months ago, so we gotta play the second one when it comes out. I play Arizona Sunshine on stream early this week. Actually really good. The PSVR 2 port I heard was pretty good, so definitely go check that out. And I will be having a special video coming out for you guys in the upcoming weeks about some really good PSVR 2 accessories that I think you guys will really like. And I'm gonna have my best games of the year coming out soon, so definitely check that out. It's coming. I got you. But that's been your boy MartydudeVR. Remember, I'm just a dude with a VR headset. Peace.